Xavi inches away from coming back to the top table, and it's the Premier League calling. Newcastle are ready to drop 75 million on one of Barcelona's proper leaders. Liverpool are dead serious about Camavinga. And both Chelsea and United have just jumped into the race for Dortmund's main striker. We're covering all that and more in today's video. Guys, let's try and hit 350 thumbs up on this one. Your support helps us make even better content for you. Let's get right into the latest transfer gossip. Chelsea and United are fuming again, proper kicking themselves. Just like summer 2024, when everyone bottled Serhou Guirassy and his mad 18 million clause at Stuttgart. Dortmund just strolled in and nabbed one of the coldest killers in Europe. Now Fachages say the Ghanaians got a new 50 million clause at Dortmund, but only for 7 giants: Madrid, Barca, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea and United. Nice one, lads. Made the VIP list again, except it's 3 times the price now. 29-year-old Serhou is rinsing the Bundesliga and Champions League once more. 13 goals, 4 assists in 22 games, including 3 goals and 3 assists in just 5 UCL matches. This ain't a hot streak, it's who he is. Stone cold finisher, proper elite. His resale value is dead because of his age, but 50 million for this guy is basically Dortmund doing Christmas early. January? Nah, Germans ain't dumb. They're not weakening mid-season, but word is the clause works in winter for these 7 only. Guirassy himself looks like he wants summer, but United are going full gas for now. Old Trafford are openly saying 50 million is more than fair after Šeško's injury left Amorim desperate up top. Guirassy walks in, Šeško's benched, Xerxes straight out the door. Chelsea are all over it too if the current lot keeps skiing sitters. The Ghanaian fixes the attack instantly. Both clubs will pay cash, no questions asked. If it goes head-to-head, it's proper war for one of the most lethal strikers in Europe. Serhou fancies one last big move, and the options are juicy. The Prem's calling, wages are there, project, wait and see. But someone definitely bottled it again and now has to pay silly money for what was basically free. Peak Premier League. Welcome back to the Regret Club, lads. Again. Liverpool look ready to go big, and they've set their sights on Real Madrid's Eduardo Camavinga. The info comes courtesy of Caught Offside. And honestly, the fee is the bit that makes your eyes pop. Apparently, the 23-year-old could be available for as little as 60 million euros. For someone with his potential and Champions League experience, that's an absolute steal. The situation in Madrid is fascinating. Carlo Ancelotti was raving about him not long ago, calling him incredible. Yet under Xabi Alonso, this season Camavinga has spent more time on the bench than anyone expected. He's featured in 14 games, but Aurélien Tchouaméni is the preferred starter. That's the opening Liverpool have spotted. Word is Real wouldn't mind moving him on to raise funds for other targets and rebalance the squad. Perfectly logical from their side, but for Liverpool, it's a golden opportunity to land an elite talent. Of course, there are complications. Alonso clearly rates him and uses him when fit, and the competition is fierce. United, PSG, Chelsea, Arsenal, Bayern, everyone's watching. But Liverpool currently look the most stable and attractive project among the chasing pack. For Arne Slot, this would be an absolute no-brainer. Camavinga is a proper elite box-to-box midfielder. Ridiculous dribbling, huge passing range, endless engine, exactly the monster we're missing in the middle of the park. Total versatile beast who can play anywhere in midfield and even left back if needed. January priorities are center half and a wide man. But when a chance like this comes along, you tear up the script. Letting him go elsewhere for 60 million would be madness. This signing could transform our season. You can build around the lad for the next 5 years easy. Power, technique, intelligence, everything Slot wants. Real rarely let top talents leave cheaply, but if the budget story is true, Liverpool need to move quicker than anyone. While Liverpool have been stalking Antoine Semenyo for months and, knowing FSG, trying to haggle over every single penny, Manchester City have just rocked up on the horizon, and this isn't some random whisper. This is a proper bombshell from the Times. Pep's lot don't mess about with nonsense. They're ready to take the lad in January. Here's the kicker. From January 1st, the Bournemouth winger's release clause kicks in, £65 million flat. While Liverpool are still faffing about with payment structures and trying to knock a few quid off, City can just walk in, pay the clause, and that's that. They need someone ready right now. Why does Pep want him? Simple. Haaland is an absolute freak. But even he can't carry the entire goal-scoring burden alone all season. Guardiola wants to take some weight off the Norwegian shoulders. Semenyo is literally perfect for that. The lad is banging. 6 goals and 3 assists this season, 13 goals last year. He's outgrown Bournemouth ages ago and is now one of the most dangerous wide men in the league. But here's the absolute beauty of doing it in January: the Africa Cup of Nations. Normally buying an African player in January is a nightmare because they sawed off for a month. Marmoush is going, for example. But Ghana somehow bottled qualification and aren't going for the first time in 21 years. National tragedy for them, absolute Christmas present for the buyer. Antoine stays put and is available for the mad February-March schedule. Quick pause, lads. Smash a like or a dislike. Anything. It genuinely helps the channel massive. Cheers for the support. Means the world. Over in Manchester, they're looking at the table. Arsenal are ahead, and to reel them in second half of the season, they need a proper rocket boost. Inside the club, they genuinely believe Semenyo is that spark. No final decision at the Etihad yet, but their winter priority is wide reinforcement. And when it's a choice between months of negotiations for someone else, or just paying £65 million and getting a proven Premier League killer instantly, we all know which way City will go. Liverpool need bloody-well wake up sharpish, because in a straight wallet fight against City, they haven't got a prayer. Let's be real. Newcastle are lining up 75 million quid to rip Ferran Torres out of Barcelona in January. Yeah, that very same Ferran everyone was burying alive 2 years ago, who suddenly remembered he's actually class under Hansi Flick. Spanish press saying the Magpies have done the maths, and they're ready to slam that 75 mil down the second the window cracks open after New Year. Proper official bid incoming, just to see how skint Barcelona really are right now. And let's be honest, they're absolutely gasping for cash. Selling one of their big assets feels like the easiest plaster for the gaping hole in their budget. Ferran's finally earning his price tag, but he's still the one you could shift without the whole squad falling apart. Contract runs until 2027, perfect timing to cash in while he's banging, and bang he is this season. Flick sticking him left, right, up top, even dropping him in the hole, and he looks useful everywhere. This ain't the same Ferran who couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo last year. We all remember that Chelsea miss in the Champions League? Don't lie. Best part? The Toon are ready to make him one of the top 3 earners at the club, 13.5 million a year net. That's Bruno Guimaraes money. He wouldn't be coming as squad fodder, he'd walk straight into the elite wage bracket. Spurs and Newcastle both sniffed around in the summer, but Barca told them to jog on. Different story now. The financial noose is still tight, and here's 75 million cash on the table. Spurs are still lurking too, but Newcastle have the Saudi checkbook and proper mad ambition. January is going to be absolutely mental. 75 mil isn't a polite inquiry. It's a name your price, we're serious statement. If Barcelona decide the money matters more than the player, Ferran Torres could be landing on Tyneside in January. Me? I'd snap their hand off. 25, versatile as hell, already proved he can handle the big stage. 75 million in 2025 is actually decent business when some clubs are paying 130 for worse. The Magpies are about to shock the market again, and this time it feels proper, serious. Thomas Frank is skating on seriously thin ice at Tottenham right now, and the shadow of Xavi Hernandez is already looming large over the club. Spanish sources say Spurs are deadly serious about Xavi as the #1 candidate if the current project finally goes under. No official contact yet, but the club are already putting together a plan to open talks. Inside Tottenham, they're convinced that if the job comes free, they'll move quicker than anyone else. Simple logic. He's available, no buyout, no long negotiations needed. Xavi left Barcelona in May 2024, had a proper break, and now he's itching to get back to work. More than that, he's been dreaming of managing in the Premier League for ages and wants a project where he actually gets proper say on transfers and squad building. He'll cost a lot less than any top boss tied to a contract, and he's still genuinely class and forward-thinking. His profile is absolutely spot on for what Tottenham need right now. An elite football brain who demands technical precision, attacking bravery, and a clear identity. On his CV, the 2022-23 La Liga title, 8 trophies as a manager, and total commitment to that gorgeous fluid 4-3-3 with high pressing, possession, and thrilling attacking play. For these Spurs, who still haven't found their own soul, this would genuinely be a transformative appointment. Now about Frank. The model that once made Brentford such a nightmare to play against has completely lost its edge and its flow at Tottenham. The players look utterly lost in the attacking patterns, and in terms of attacking football, the last few performances have been bloody awful. He's reshuffled the squad, tried to impose his ideas, and inside the club they're genuinely worried the whole project is slowly but surely grinding to a halt. The stands are sick to death of watching clueless, mistake-ridden football. Spurs don't actually like sacking managers. That's true. But when the results start screaming, fingers start hovering over the red button. The board are ready to pull the trigger on a change if things don't turn round by the end of the month. And right there on the horizon is the 45-year-old Catalan. Free, hungry, obsessed with attacking football and ready to take full ownership of the entire project. Everything points to him being the perfect replacement for Frank. And here I am thinking, maybe I need my own Xavi too? A viewer who doesn't just watch but finally hits that subscribe button? I proper love you lot, honestly. Even the ones watching on the telly through YouTube who physically can't like or subscribe. But those who can, go on, make an old bloke happy. Hit subscribe. Otherwise, I'll sod off for a well-earned rest after a tough season and you'll be lying awake at night missing my voice. If Frank does turn this season around sharpish, Xavi could well be on the plane to North London before we know it. And yes, this Tottenham, who've lost their way for far too long, desperately need exactly this kind of obsessive, detail-obsessed manager right now.